Today we are going to be talking about our top pick for a scene from Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 2, which aired on Sunday. I believe it was called Stormborn was the name of the episode. And the scene we're going to be talking about is the final scene of the episode, which is a giant ship battle between the two Greyjoy fleets. Euron Greyjoy attacks Greyjoy fleet that is carrying the Sand Snakes of Dorne and Lyria Sand as well. Euron attacks, just obliterates their fleet and to kill Nymeria Sand and Obara Sand with their own weapons. So Nymeria Sand is the one who uses a whip. Euron strangled her. Obara Sand is the Sand Snake who uses the spear, and Euron stabbed her with her spear. So they got killed with their own weapons. They were left hanging on the ship at the end of the episode. You saw their bodies hanging from it, like one hanging by the whip and the other one like impaled on the mast of one of the ships they were leaving behind. In the scene, Theon and Euron and Illyria are still alive, as far as we know, as well as Tyene. So Illyria is Oberyn's mistress, the one who slit Cersei's daughter's throat. And Tyene is the Sand Snake that is her daughter and the daughter of Oberyn Martell. All Sand Snakes were the daughters of Oberyn. So the two of them, those two Sands are still alive. They seem to be, and this is what I guessed before but didn't say because I didn't want to leave spoilers, they seem to be the gift to be bringing Cersei.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah. So we know that they're probably not long for this world. So even if some kind of a rescue and some kind of unpredictable thing happens, it's very unlikely that all three captives, and that includes Yara Greyjoy as well, are going to make it out of this alive. What we're really going to be talking about in this scene is the moment in which Euron has bested Yara in combat and is holding a knife to her throat. And
more like an axe, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I didn't know what it was. But he taunts Ysal, well, here she is, what are you going to do? And Theon's looking around and he sees...
starts, Yara refers to Theon as her protector. She boasts about it to Illyria because Illyria
mentions it and sheds doubt on it, and it's kind of like...
sheds doubt on it, and she's
teasing him.
She confidently says, he's my protector, he will protect me. So when that moment comes, is he going to muster up the courage and he chickens out, he jumps off the ship. Like, completely useless.
It's a little bit more than that, because he fully dropped back into Reek mode.
Right.
You could see it on his face. You could see all the confidence, like, drip out of him. And his eyes started twitching, became the kind of useless self that he was before he ended up saving Sansa.
Right.
When he was Ramsay's prisoner. You could see he was just emasculated again. He was, ruined and just couldn't figure out what to do. And he just looked around and he was watching all of Theon, or Euron's men, just basically, cutting out the jewelry and anything valuable literally out of people's faces on his ship, and he just kind of like lost all his nerve and courage, all faded away, and he ended up jumping off of the ship.
He ended up just poof, So, I guess he did revert back to Reek mode. I guess underscores that Theon he's useless. He's basically useless.
He's completely broken. He can't really serve the duty of a soldier like that. He's easily broken is what the problem is. Right. So it's like he was competently fighting, and then he lost all of his nerve, completely reverted, and it's kind of almost like PTSD. Just kind of like dropped back and became like a shell, and couldn't do anything, and ended up jumping overboard to save himself.
Right.
You kind of see the heartbreak on his face when she realizes that that's what's happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. You see a heartbreak on her face. Like you see the disappointment, and Euron, seeing him just flee, Euron just laughs. Euron just lets out this mocking laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like he
just thinks it's the funniest thing. So
yeah.
We talked on the podcast last week, the Weekly Set podcast, about Euron and how he's been depicted in this season so far. Again, more time with Euron. He's just has far more energy and is a far more interesting character.
Yeah. He's
he was last season.
He's more animated this season for sure. No, he's got he's more frisky, I guess,
Frisky, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he very much is. He's showing a little bit of that craziness we got like from Ramsay, kind of how much he actually enjoys it when he's killing people and doing fucked up things, We're starting to get a little bit of that in Euron as well. Like last week we just had him talking about that stuff. This week we see him actually reveling in it while doing it.
Right. Reveling in it while doing it. So he's like another Ramsay-style psychopath.
But that's it for this scene. If you want to hear our full discussion of the episode in full spoilers as well, tune into the Weekly Set podcast, which we record every Thursday night.
Including everything else that happened on this episode of Game of Thrones.
We'll be talking about, we mentioned Nymeria Sand. We'll be talking about another Nymeria.
Yeah.
And we'll also be talking about, the rest of the events and what seems to be shaping up and where we could see things moving, and they're moving pretty quickly, which is really cool. So we'll talk about all that, as well as the newest episode of Twin Peaks. So that'll be our podcast. We'll be recording that on Thursday. Should be up very early on Friday. So look for that. In the meantime, check out the rest of our YouTube channel and our site, TVEnthusiast.com, for more content. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching us. Valor Margolis.
Valor Margolis.